Welcome to the XSF podcast, hosted by Devante Erlinson and Louis Bombadiri. Everyone is capable of being extreme. Tune in Fridays to discover how you are too. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 28 of the XSF podcast. That's right, I am back here with Lou this week. And,
What up?
What up? Say what up, Lou. I'm
What
always
up,
the one
Lou?
talking. There we go. And today, we really just went into life. We just wanted to sit down, have a conversation about life, and we ended up going really deep into checking yourself before you wreck yourself, and just, shout out to Ice Cube, real quick. Real quick, but that's just something we really wanted to dive in today, and it's kind of funny where the conversation goes. We even dove into hobos attacking people on a subway? Is that what you said? Yeah, on a subway, and a bunch of other stuff. So make sure, if you guys really want to listen to how we just rant about life, stay tuned to the end of today's episode. Hope you all enjoy. Bro, get this. All right. Have you ever heard of, wait, let me think. Is it a Japanese beetle? Do you know what they look like?
So.
All right, I'm
Japanese
pulling one up on the TV
beetle.
right now. I was ready
I'm
for
pretty
this.
sure. Yeah, good. Yeah,
Right,
I've seen it. Dope.
If you're listening and you're not on YouTube, go get on YouTube. Links in the show notes. But, I'm showing a picture on screen of a Japanese beetle. If you don't know what those are,
You can probably just Google it.
It's going to come up. But we've never had a problem with them in our yard. And I guess, when I had first went to the Army, because I guess I never shared this on the show, but I actually took over my childhood home with my family after I came back from the Army. So I used to live here, went to the Army, and when we moved, I guess our neighbor got an infestation of these things, and they went away. She got them to go away somehow, and she's kind of had little ones every year. All of a sudden, this year, for some reason, we take over the house. It's our first summer in the house. We have our nice garden going and stuff, and all this is going on over in the corner. JoJo screams this morning. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Because she's usually out there just having a good time doing her thing. And I'm like, what? Because she hates bugs. All of a sudden, I go out there, dude. They're swarming her. I'm not kidding you. It was a swarm of these things. If you could picture, cicadas, the noise they make, it's that, but
Locust.
Yeah. It's like that, but on 10. Literally.
What? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, no, just because there's so many of them. So it's instead of just the one sound, there's different ones coming in and out, and you can hear them coming in and stuff. And we had to go get these bags, and that's just how I started my day. It was just a random, eventful day of dealing with bugs.
You stay starting your days in the wildest ways. Let me tell you, bro. When you tell me your shit, I'm like, I just woke up and stretched and drank water and went to work. God damn.
Did you see this morning?
It's though.
I don't know, dude, because there's so I told Arlo last night, when we went to bed, I was like, oh, I'll take you to the park tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And then we wake up and it was raining. And how most parents be like, hey, it's raining, bro. We're not going right now. I was like, dude, screw up. Grab your rain jacket, y'all. Let's go. 10 a.m. we were out at the park just playing in the rain, dude, just having a good time.
That's so dope because you need that. I still don't understand. With people, I was with my brother last night at my parents' house and we were watching these commercials. Something about some type of sunscreen, bop. We need the sun, yo. Why do these people keep talking as if we don't need these elements? Everything now, everything is about climate control. Let's keep everything as cold as possible when we want it cold, air conditioning. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy those things.
It's a luxury.
Right now I'm in this apartment. Right now I'm in this apartment, right? And since it's my first time in my life living in an apartment like this, I live parents' house and then I guess boot camp and stuff. That you don't even consider. Obviously, you're not getting air conditioning there.
But I see what you're saying.
But then so then in when I lived in Astoria, that was a 3-family house, so it's still separate units. But now with 37 however many apartments are in a place, a lot more than 37. Obviously, there's 37 floors. But sharing the air conditioning, it doesn't get that AC. Let me tell you, right? I'll put it on. The other day, I'm like, let me treat myself. Yeah. Let me put it on. Go to the gym. So when I come back from the gym, I walk into a nice freezing. I walked in. I'm like, this is my friggin' AC. And I'm used to it. Now check this out. I'm used to growing up. I was in my parents' basement and in a room that was basically as big as the box you're seeing on Riverside FM, and literally it was like a meat locker. You could have hung meat in there. It was dope, you know. So anyway, I don't get that now, and I actually try to like this is how I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what, fuck, forget it. Like use this as a way to like not have to like instant gratification.
Yeah,
Like,
or
oh,
just
I absolutely must get an ice cold air conditioner. I'm gonna die. Like, you know, work 12-hour days, skate home,
yes.
and then enjoy
I love that
this.
you
Like,
said that.
sit in it, and then get stronger at this. Like, at like being able to not need to be the most comfortable you could possibly be in your life at every given second. Like, do things that aren't that comfortable. Like sitting. That's why I'm in this. Like I said to you, I'm like, oh, I'm coming on tonight with a kimono, bro. It's
Whatever,
too hot up
dog.
here. You know what I mean? Like because it's too hot in here, and instead of the AC bumping and whatever, I'm just
Yeah,
chilling. Like I'm chilling. Like you know
I
what? This is
I
what
did
it
the
is.
same thing earlier. Like I'll do. It's just like one of those things. I like to do that to make myself realize, like, hey, I have these things like as a luxury. You know, like if I'm driving in the car, I have AC in my car, and it'll be hot, but I'll open the window sometimes and just get that breeze while I'm driving because that's good enough. And for me, it's taking into account, like, hey, yes, I can use these things, but I probably should be aware of that and have just that awareness around it and be like, okay, do I really need it? Do I really want it? And would I be more rewarded if I, like you said, in this situation, got hot for a little bit and then threw it on later, or just sat with it and dealt with it?
Yeah,
And
it's just it's exactly what you said. It's
yeah,
appreciating
it's
the
just
shit.
it.
It's
Like with
appreciating
food,
this.
even like I think the same thing with food. Like the more you can appreciate, I'm not saying like I go out and hunt my food and all this stuff, but just having a respect around it and awareness around it. It's the
The
same
fact that
thing.
you know that you're eating,
Yeah,
really, too, like that, too.
exactly. Yeah.
Like food is so abundant in this country, and like, 'cause look, homeless people are overweight.
Mm-hmm.
They're not skin and bones, like to the point where it's like I'm gonna die if I don't eat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's like we have an abundance of it, although we throw most of it out too. That which I don't. That's why I laugh because like, oh, so you're telling me we have way too many people to go to straight up like cattle and hunter gathering ways? Doesn't mean you have to be the hunter
Mm-hmm.
gatherer. All it means is someone out there is hunting your food, killing it, and then like a cow feeds families. You're telling me we have too many people for that? Yet we throw shit out
Yeah.
all the
Like.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I don't know. That's the point. I'm not going to believe what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to sit here and say I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I just don't believe you. You know?
It's just I don't know. It's funny, and I just love like the fact that me and you we come from so like different. We just come from different backgrounds, but it's I just love how
Very
yeah,
different.
very different
Yeah,
backgrounds. But I mean, you hear us talk each week, and obviously we're on the same wavelength with things. And yeah, we don't have the same
exactly.
opinion on absolutely everything, but I just love how two people like ourselves can have such an understanding about these things like congruently together, and then it's funny to me then how others just I don't know, and I'm myself I'm trying not to like push that out on others, like how I just said others. Like I'm trying to just look at me and you and how we do this, and just focusing on that. Like I think that's been a big thing in my life lately, and I've realized I did that a lot was like projecting what I thought on others or like what I was thinking others would think about me or about a situation or about whatever, right? And just not worrying about actually what I'm doing in that moment or whatever the case may be. I just realized like this last week I definitely do that quite a bit, and it's something that's the fun part about being like just human. Like you get to find these things out about yourself and work with it. At least in
Yeah,
my
man.
case,
That's also if you want to.
yeah,
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 if you, I was gonna say, because a lot of people just don't even consider that. They just stay like that, not even aware that they're doing it.
hmm
Like that's one of my one of the biggest things that I try to deal with is like not judging people so much.
hmm
Like especially in like a gym setting,
dude. Oh
you know,
yeah,
and then
it's just nature.
I self check myself because I'm like, shut your mouth. I mean, this is me talking to myself. I'm like, shut your mouth. Just because you know what you're doing now in the gym, what when you didn't really know what you were doing,
hmm
you would have been hating on yourself heavy.
Heavy.
You know, it's like it's because then I actually had a realization where I was like, you know what? You're complaining about people doing things wrong in the gym, but you're complaining about people not being in the gym and being fit and healthy or just active in general.
It's like where do you
Which
win?
one is it? Do you want to just complain,
Yep.
or do you want to actually? Like, which one is it? Do you want to just complain and then you're like, I just want to complain.
hmm
And usually, if we just want to complain, it's because we're complaining about ourselves but about someone else to ourselves. It's not often like negative self talk. Yeah, we'll do that. But when like there's not really negative self talk going on, but like you're judging. Typically, you're judging yourself looking at others, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always if you're wasting time in your life judging others, you're wasting time not getting better at being you, or just basically being you,
Yeah.
learning things that are in your field of expertise or whatever you like to learn about.
Hmm.
Just learning in general. I mean, if you sit there and just stare at Netflix all day, cool. But like, you learned something. Like, if you learned about history, about anything,
Hmm.
whatever it is, Beatles, friggin' whatever it is, it's just better off like that way instead of distracting. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah,
And
not well,
we all do
and
that.
we've talked about that before.
We all
How
do
you,
it.
yeah, and I was gonna say we've talked about that before. How even those learning things like reading a book or using those things can all be distractions, and it's funny how like, dude,
Yeah.
I mean we all do it. It's just part of it, and I just that's why I love having these conversations around it because it just makes you really look at it from a different perspective. Because I feel like most of us just don't take that time during the day. I know myself, I definitely don't. I try to, right? I try to be aware of it, but I got the two kids, the wife, the business, all this stuff just starts to go, and you try to be mindful throughout the day. And you, there's times where I'm like, okay, I need to take a second. Like, let me just step outside and just literally listen to like birds chirp for a second and stuff like that. And
That's grounding yourself right there.
that's something I've had to do, especially,
You have to. Like,
yeah,
dude, that's how people get panic attacks because
yeah,
everything's going whoa, 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 and just and you just
yeah. You're like,
whoa,
hold
be
on, let
right
me just take
here.
a second.
Otherwise, your mind will be like this, this, this,
Hmm.
this, 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 this. But also some people I don't think have that. It's wild, bro. Because like
Well,
that's what's
yeah,
so
there
dope
has to be
about
like the
that's
opposite end of it, of course,
yeah,
which
like
I
that's
would
what's
love
so
to
dope
talk to
about.
somebody about if they had that.
Well,
Because
that's what I'm saying. A friend of mine growing up, that was him. One of my best friends,
yeah,
Kenny. Literally, I'd be like, sometimes like, bro, what do you think about it? He'd be like, what do you mean nothing? And I'm like,
what?
what do you mean nothing, dude? I'm over here, you
Yeah,
know. And I
that's
used to
crazy.
hate it. That's actually
Huh.
why I used to do drugs. Like I became a raging drug addict because I couldn't deal with
To
thoughts.
shut it out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because OxyContin will just dull you down.
Hmm.
That's why I was doing so much of that stuff because I literally couldn't. Because this thing can get wild
Yeah.
in a good and a bad way,
Hmm.
So it's like until you can learn how to be with them and first of all understand like you're not your thoughts, they're
No.
just going to come and go,
Hmm.
but like if you don't have to be with every single one of them and then do your thing, like even to this day when I'm reading a book about whatever it is, thinking about a billion other things, I have to
Right.
restart the page, but I've understood now that's something just I do. Even with heavy meditation I do and all that, it's something that just that happens. I get thoughts constantly, so I have to like just discipline down until they stop. Like if I'm trying to
Hmm.
read a book, it's like don't let go. Like, don't let go of the idea that you're reading this book. Keep reading the book as everything comes. Try your best because it'll be something to
The
like, oh, you have to
practice.
remember that. Write it down. You have to write that down. Write it. And instead of put the book down, but like they say something about like every time you stop your concentration, it takes like 20 minutes to truly get back into it or something like that. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's that 20 minutes, but it's something. Jim Quick
Yeah.
talks about it all the time. Like
Hmm.
it's something where you break your concentration. So like even with all the years of meditation, I've been doing 5 years of meditation almost every single day, 5 years with very, very, very small times off. All that, you still deal with that stuff.
Hmm.
But like, and that the reason I even say it's because like it's never gonna end. Like it's never gonna end when you choose to try to like be a better you. I
That's
mean,
when you
true.
dive
Like it's
into it.
never
Like,
gonna
it's
end.
never going to
Yeah.
end. That's what I was just going to
And
say.
you can't sit there and wait for the day. Like so many people I talk to, are like, well, one day, or I'm not feeling it today, or I don't have the motivation. But like, I have days where I don't even like this. It's tough to even get out of bed, but you do. You
Hmm.
just do it. You have to understand that stuff about you. You know what I mean? Like you have to just do. And doing actions like actual like if you don't if you're like yo I don't want to get out of bed. Go the exact
Yeah.
opposite.
Hmm.
Unless you're full blown sick where you cannot get out of bed.
Oh,
But like
yeah. That's,
anytime your mind's telling you to be comfortable, typically don't. Like we
hmm,
needed it when we were hunter gatherers and shit because it'd be like yo now a lion's about to eat you. You should be aware of that.
yeah.
Go get comfort. Like yo we're about to starve to death. Go get some food. Yo it's about to rain. Go get some shelter. Now
Hmm.
it's like all right, we got food, we got shelter, we
I
got
almost like
Wi-Fi,
flip it
we're
and reverse
chilling.
it. You almost have to like seek those things out just because we are so comfortable.
Well, that's exactly what you have to do. That's
Yeah.
literally what everyone talks about now. Like comfort's the enemy and all this
But then
stuff. And
again,
I agree.
yeah,
I
I
agree. It
agree.
is.
I agree, and
You
it's
gotta earn.
like,
I say earn the lazy. You gotta like earn the comfortability. You know what I
and
mean?
it's like, it's not to say like, the argument I always get in about this, right, is, well, what about like modern day like technology, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm very thankful that we wouldn't be able to do our business the way we do it. Wouldn't be,
Exactly.
all this stuff if we didn't have people running Google, all this stuff. I'm not saying that those jobs aren't, they're needed. They're definitely needed, especially with where we're at today in this world. It's not going anywhere. But for those people out there, and just for those who maybe not, they just don't think this way, I wish it was pushed out a little bit more. That like, hey, just realize that like we are very comfortable. Like life might stress you out. Yes, like you might perceive things that are going on in your life as stressful, but do you have a roof over your head? Do you likely have food in your fridge? If you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're pretty okay. Unless you're out there with just the phone and you're on the
Yeah. If
streets,
you're
then hey,
listening
and
to
you're
this
listening to this and
podcast,
you're like
yeah,
that,
thank you. Yo, get
hit
me
us up.
out.
Hit us
Because
up
you.
on
Oh yeah, that
like,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say like good looks, because you should be getting a fucking job and you listen to us
Yeah,
talk.
that's what
That's good
that's what
looking
I'm
out.
saying.
But yeah, reach out. I'll throw you a couple dollars or something. Only
But
if we're gonna help you though. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, no,
I'll throw
but
you a shirt.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put
Throw
some
you
clothes
some
on your
clothes.
back.
I was thinking about
But
that today actually.
yeah, just doing something like that, and that's just, I don't know. I really forgot where I was going with that, but now
No,
you said
actually,
that.
I think I know exactly where you're going, because I was going to touch on that myself about
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
we're not sitting here saying like we're not comfortable. You know,
Oh
it's like
yeah.
I'm saying, yo, I want you every day to wake up and jab a needle into your leg so you feel some pain. No,
Oh,
no, it's not that. It's like, yo, go work out, put your body
there we
under
go. Thank
stress,
you.
go run in some heat, sit in some heat for a little bit, go meditate, because that's uncomfortable for many people. Go stand with your posture perfect for a little bit. Go have a conversation with someone that you normally wouldn't, or you constantly think about doing, but you don't do. Start something new that you're petrified of doing. You go
Yeah,
start
and
writing. Like you always keep telling yourself, I
yeah,
want to be a writer. Go start writing. Doing things that are uncomfortable for you to do. Doesn't mean you have to sit, put a crown of thorns on your head and go,
no,
walk up a hill.
well, yeah. I'm not saying you have to
No.
go walk around in the freezing cold weather and all this stuff. Like, no, we have these things. We
Which isn't a
have,
bad idea.
I mean, it's not. No, I'm not saying it's not. I do it all the time in the winter here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
hike all winter.
Yeah, winter
I'm
in
not
Minnesota is very
pushing.
dope.
Yeah, I'm not pushing that on anybody else. But it's just like you said. It's just really being aware of like, hey, like we are comfortable, and that's a great thing. I'm very blessed and thankful for that. But then again, because I'm thankful for that and aware of it, I also tell myself, hey, like let's make myself appreciate these things just a little bit more by doing what you just said.
Yeah, complacency kills. That's what, because
Yeah.
the more comfortable you are, because then you think you deserve it. And like if you don't have it, you be wow, wow, wow. Like imagine like actually growing up, right?
Hmm.
I had an opportunity when I was 16 to get a sick Benz, and my dad was like, "You are out of your mind. You think you're driving a Benz at 16." The
Hmm.
life lesson I was learning was like, "Yo, why would I give you a Benz at 16, and the rest of your life you need to have a Benz?" No, we
Yo.
started out. I mean, I started '88 Monte Carlo SS. I mean, that was still a dope
Right,
car.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like now,
that's
I'm like,
it.
yo, give me that.
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say.
but it wasn't like at that age you had to like it was like really I'm driving this, like everyone else went over, and it's like it was a life lesson. Like, bro, you then you're gonna be used to this, and you get unless you're
Hmm.
truly appreciative, like you have to appreciate things in life. If you don't, complacency kills. Straight up, just like at work, like at the blue collar job, when people start thinking like the shop will never lay me off, I'm the best,
Hmm.
nothing could go wrong, and they're leaving early every day, and they're messing around and not performing like they really could be performing. Then they get laid off, and guess what happens? They get mad at the shop. How could they do
Hmm.
this to me? I've been with
Hmm.
them for 20 years. Ba 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 ba. Complacency kills. We don't forget it's a
Ex-
business.
and especially if you want something. So this just made me think of skateboarding completely, right? So I know more than a handful of skaters. If you're listening, I know you felt this way. There's so many skaters out there that we know that have so much potential, that could be pro skateboarders, that could do this stuff, right? But that same kind of thing seems to happen where it's like the complacency thing, where it's like you get comfortable doing the stuff, and you're with your crew skating, and you have these like goals for yourself as a skater. And this is just me talking from like a skateboarder's perspective, obviously, but me myself going through this, and I know other people have, like just seeing the homies, skating with the homies, getting in like this routine, right? You're just getting this routine when you're a teenager, skating and skating, but in the back of your head you're like, dang, I want to go somewhere, like I want to go do something. One of the only homies that did that out of my crew at a younger age is now pro. Tanner Van Vark. Shout out to you, bro. Love you, dog. It was just your birthday, and it's crazy to me because I think about that. Because I'm like, damn, like, I had the opportunity to go. Like, I could have went too. Like, I was in online school. I could have kept skating, but I was so comfortable and complacent with smoking weed all day, being in online school, skating, just having this fun time, when in the back of my head I knew I wanted to go places. And then this is, for me, it led to a different path after my grandpa had passed away and I was in the streets more and all that other stuff happened. But, it's just, I don't know. I think about that a lot for me, at least with skateboarding. Is like, hey, with any goal, if you really want something, that whole complacency thing, sitting around, just getting really comfortable with just like your whole life, I don't know. To me,
See,
it can be a downfall to
you,
things.
you know where I can definitely see a lot of people, because now I'm thinking about clients and stuff, and where I see a lot of people get stuck, where it's like, think about it. You always constantly hear from online, whether it's Instagram, whatever, of like the people that are like, yo, you have to go 1,000% always, or nothing will
Yeah.
change. And then you got the other people that are like, yo, enjoy your life. Like, it's not right that you shouldn't be able to have 4 slices of pizza with your friends out on a Thursday night. Like, you should be able. And it's like, listen, if you're someone who already does the 3 slices of pizza with your boys on a Thursday night routine, then Tuesday you're going out for Taco Tuesday, and then you get banged up Friday night, Saturday night, whatever the case is, and you want change in your life, you have to change those things. Now,
Hmm.
that's just the way it is. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, go to one of those things. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're someone that everything you do in life is one of, you progress forward in school, you have a healthy diet, you're a healthy individual, and you want to change something, it's typically a little easier because you're already that person. And so that's when people could be like, yo, there's no, like, don't care about that latte. Like, a lot of times in like the money saving world, they're like, don't spend the $5 on a coffee every day, and you save that up and you invest instead. Then you have the other camp that's like, fuck, you forget that, spend what you want. Same thing in health and fitness. It's like the go hard all
Yeah.
day, every day, or they're like, yo, it's laid back, not namaste, bro. I'm gonna stay right here.
Easiest
Namaste home.
easiest
Like,
way I like to put this, especially because like the whole fitness thing, any goal is like, you have to realize there's work to be fucking done. It's that simple.
yeah,
There's work to be done. Accept that fact. Be ready to do that work, but also be ready to figure out the best system for you in that work.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
what
saying you have
it
to
is.
go into it making it a fucking struggle every single day. I mean, it was literally just a year of the business, June 6th, right? So for me, every single day I've been doing something to get to this point today. And that's the whole point, is that you just got to keep moving forward. Like, it's just those little things you don't realize. Creating a system and knowing like, hey, this is hard work, but if I can create a system around it, then that work that is like seems to be hard can then seem through a different lens. It's a little bit easier. It just seems a little bit easier only because then you just have a system around it. Because life is going to throw shit at you. Like, no matter what, life's going to throw stuff at you. It's happened to me a million times since me and Lou just partnered up, and life has just been throwing stuff. But with a system down, a system that I operate on, at least for my goals on a daily basis. Like, hey, I know I know this has to get done, this has to get done, and this has to get done for me to get to blah in 5 years if I want to get there. Like, I know, like, okay, in the back of my head, like, I need to wake up and just keep this routine going. Of course, there's the times where you can have your fun. I'm not saying you can't. I have my fun all the time with my wife and stuff. But I also know that next day, like, hey, I did this because I wanted to. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wasn't straying away from my goals, because also that's part of my system. That's, what I'm saying? It goes
Yeah,
right into my system of, I know myself and how I operate. If I don't have enough time with my family and my wife, especially at night with just her and stuff, like, not only does our relationship just start to just get really just not necessarily bad, but we just start to bruh. That just scared the fucking shit out of me.
did it? I saw it
Skateboard just fell off
happen.
the wall. I
I
don't know if you
saw
could
it
hear that
happen,
in the
Father.
background if you're just
You
listening on
definitely could
audio.
fucking hear that. You would
Yeah, it
definitely
was
hear that.
loud as shit. All right, well, skateboard fell. That's all right. But like I was saying, for me, I know personally, I don't get as much done with my goals that I'm working toward when I'm all bugged up in the head about other things because my system just wasn't on the right operating system. You know, we talk about in Prescript and all about the shit, like about your ones and zeros and shit. I just transfer that into my own life and use it the same way. Like it's just
Systems
having
way
a
of
better
thinking.
operating system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
systems way of thinking. You know, like even when you say the whole like you could have your fun, I think about that like what the fuck is like if you're not having fun, then what are you doing? Like this is the way I look at it. Like
That's
because
that's
like
a great way to say it too,
even when
because
people talk about all this like entrepreneurship and all this blah blah, it's like no, what you got to do is like max out your credit card, all this wild stuff. It's like, all right, you might have to do it, but why can't you have fun doing that? If you're miserable while doing this and your outcome is just to make a bunch of money in life, it's like, okay, if that's what you're doing. But like this whole connotation about fun, what if fun is for you is just sitting on a beach getting wasted with your friends? Then all right, like that's yeah, and that's all you want to do. It's like, hey, you know what?
I think that's where it's hard.
open up a stand on a beach and sell liquor, so you could do that all day. But you're not. You're
Yeah,
gonna go to some job that has nothing to do with the beach, and you're just gonna cannot wait to go there. So you torture yourself to
there you
have
go.
this quote unquote fun you think you're having. Like for me, like to do some stuff, like even write programs for clients. I have to seriously sit down, like force myself sometimes. Well, I'll get the reminder, like I don't want to do that right now. And it's like once I start doing them, I'm really enjoying it. But I gotta force myself down. You know, it's what it is. Like for me to have fun when I'm having, I mean, a ton of fun. I'm probably skating through something. Might be on some psychedelics, listening to some great music. But I'm not doing that all the time because I have fun doing other things. But sometimes you just got to get through that little. Like for me, it's conditioning. It's like because I didn't like high school to 27 or 28, I wasn't a studious individual. I wasn't really a productive human in society. I had a job and worked out, but I was a lunatic, not doing great
Sound a
things.
lunatic.
Yeah, not doing great things. So it's like I still fight that condition of someone that just wants to get like smacked off edibles and stare at a screen or just like scroll through Instagram because that gets addicting and I want to throw that out the window, But like you said, it's work. Like seriously, for me to not and just throw that away, like that's work. Because now I'm sitting like, yo, just go back to it, get back to scrolling, like get back to scrolling, or like do something other than something that's productive, learning something, writing programs for clients, whatever it is. Like you
Yeah,
said, though, it's work, and that's what people have to really
yeah.
just
Just
understand.
knowing that.
It's gonna be work, no matter everything you do in life. It's gonna be work. Some people find that thing that they truly like and they make it work for them, and to
Yeah,
them
it
that's their
works.
entire fun. But everyone's capable of doing that. You just got to go find out. Go find out. Go
What's
find things you
yours?
like. Go
Yeah,
find things
and
you
that's
like.
yeah. We talk about that all the time, like having experiences. Like just doing those things, and that goes with making yourself uncomfortable. Like we were just saying earlier.
Yeah.
Like God, there's so many things I would have missed out on if I let that feeling of like just being uncomfortable, like the butterfly feeling, like not being able to look at that as like, hey, obviously I'm a little excited about something here, like whatever the case may be, however you decide to look at it. But for me, it's more so the fact that I was at a young age just experienced a lot. And I think that's also like something to be said too, because we're talking about all this stuff. But we're also two people who speak from like quite a bit of experience outside of the world of school and home. And there's a lot of people out there who don't, like
Well,
who
that's what I was
didn't
saying.
have.
Go experience though. That's
Yeah,
exactly like.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like that goes hand in hand. I think, well, that's what I'm saying. That's like the hard part about these conversations for me. So it's easier for me and you to have this because we've had
Yeah,
that.
but
But
people listen because they haven't got like that's why we're
exactly,
having
and
it.
just
So the people
yeah,
that are sitting in
exactly.
their house judging the world, but from their fudging couch, go experience it.
Go
Before people
go do
judge
something.
the world, how this is that, that's this, and you're only getting all your information from Instagram, and you don't leave your place other than maybe the job you go to, the bar you go to. You talk to the same four people every week. Change it up. Get different perspectives, different outlooks,
Hmm.
different ideas, and do this with your hand. It looks cool. Don't.
And do this too. If you can't
I got
see, he's just
myself,
doing some
bro.
weird
I
stuff with
got
his hand.
myself with that. I was like, what is going on?
What am
But
I doing
yeah,
right now?
like, but that's what it is because I think a lot of the animosity in the world comes from that too. People, because like everyone when you're younger, you have these ideas and dreams you want to do. Like, how many times does a kid who gets asked in class, like, Timmy, what do you want to be? Actually becomes what they say they're going to be. It's not often. Matter of fact,
Hmm.
people write books about those people. that were like, yo, at 5 years old, Bill
You want to
Gates
know
was
what I
like,
said in
oh, I'm
school?
gonna run what? Probably what you're doing now.
Skateboarder.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you were that type of person, though. Like,
I'm in the right. I'm in the
you're
right
that
lane.
guy. Like me, who knows what I
Fuck the
said. Yeah,
teachers.
I mean, at that age, actually, I was freaking knows. It doesn't matter, but like,
You know what? Real quick before we end today's episode, that's something we're talking about life and stuff, dude. Like that's just something I've been fighting my whole life. I didn't really realize like how much like I felt you were literally getting on me about like how much of a perfectionist I was, like I am.
yeah,
And like for me, that's something that can stop me from doing a lot just because I get in my own head. Because like even when I was little, I felt like I always had something to prove, right? Like I went to an all white school and no one liked me, and the teachers didn't like me. I used to get all a bunch of more homework, and I went to an all black school. All the black kids hated me. I was the white trash of the school. You know, all this stuff. I always felt like I had something to prove. Even in the skate game, dude, going to third layer, like I wasn't induced into like the cool skate homies until I got like respect for it. When you know some of them were kind of just like born into it, you know, whatever the case may be. I always had to work hard for it, and like that's something that I'm now trying to revert my energy into just doing it for the fact of I want to prove something to myself.
yeah,
You know, like not that I have to prove
an
anything to anybody
internal
else. I'm just
scorecard.
exactly, yeah, and that's something that me and you were talking about that I fight with so hard because it's like I'll be doing these things, making these moves, and at the same time, I'm telling myself I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing whatever said thing. And, you know, for anybody else out there who might feel the same way and is listening, you can always shoot me a DM. We'll have all this stuff down in the show notes because this is something I love to have conversations more about, especially because really the only person I talk to about it is Lou. And I don't know. I just think it's interesting if you have any
You,
kind of note on that
you know what it
stuff.
is too? It's like we were just talking about fun, right, and enjoying life and all that. It's like because honestly, there's always more everyone could do, unless you're that person that's just. But what I'm saying is, if you're that person, like, are you enjoying it then? Like, you really see, enjoy the
Yeah.
process and all that. Like, it's honestly, this is what I look at. It's your choice. Like, that's another thing too. I'm giving suggestions here. If you straight up just want to hate your job during the week and get by and just drink on the beach, and go do your thing. As long as you're not raping, murder, or stealing, I don't care what you're doing. But I'm just saying, like,
Hmm.
don't be the complainer out there. You know what I mean? And like, because that's
That's my
something I get.
biggest thing. Real
That's
quick, that's my biggest fucking thing that I talk to Jojo about all the time is if you come to me and you complain about something, but then you are given a clear objective of how to change it, and you continue to do the same thing and bitch, you just need to get out of my face. Like that is just
yeah,
one
but
thing, and I like that you can.
that's where we
It's
gotta
just like
work with you, young man, because
I know, dude. I
one, that
know.
won't
It's
help
just
clientele.
I
Two,
know.
the better you can work with humans, the better we could all be. And like, because I hear you, because
Yeah,
I'm very much like that. But that's something I've been
yeah.
personally working on. Because then I look at it as like, you know what? This is what it is to be a human. Like me and
Hmm.
myself. I'm not.
And that's why I was being honest about my feelings about it,
No,
because it's
that's why
like
you
that's
should.
where
That's why
I,
I'm not sitting here like it's a bad thing.
yeah,
I'm just saying like
yeah,
it's
no,
how we're
no,
gonna work because that's like
yeah,
I do the
it's just
same
crazy.
thing even with myself of like again, I'm judging early at the gym. Like, hold on, which one is it? You don't want people. You want people in the gym getting more fit and healthy and being active, but then you're hating
Yep.
on them for being in there doing it wrong. Like, shut your mouth. Which one is it? Which one is it, Lou? You know. So
Hmm.
it's like
Hmm.
it's really. Oh, now I'm losing my train of thought of what we were just saying. Son of a gun. Give me a second. What was it? Bring
Uh,
it back to me. Bring it back to me.
well, I was talking about the fact of when people come to me and they
Yeah.
complain about things, and then there's like the
Yeah.
obvious thing in front of them, and then you went into the fact of we need to work on that just because of
Because
if
it
you
is
can
better
do
because it's
that with your
perspectives and stuff,
better
and then it's also too.
perspective.
Oh, check
Yeah.
it out because it's like I'm sure I do things that other people would be like, oh, you shouldn't do that, and it's because that's what it is when you live in the world of shoulds. You're like everyone else should do this, bad this, that, this, and it's really only in your world, you know. And like
Hmm.
when it comes to ourselves, like the way you are a serious perfectionist on yourself, and it's like you'll tell me things like, dude, you look at what you're doing, it's insanely good, you know. And like but I do the same thing to myself but then I also, because I honestly have this idea with myself that actually it's something I battle with, where like all I truly try to do is be a better me. Like if I do that, if I get to that work today, then it's tough for me to get to any other type of work. To be honest with you, like I have to force
Hmm.
myself to get to content creating, to have ideas, to read and study and learn to get better, to be able to get better content creating and help clients more. Like I have to force that because as long as I get to my ways of trying to be a better Lou to get to rid my body of the angst that I've had and the violence that I can have within me, like the pure wanting to rip people apart mentality. Like when I can work
Hmm.
on just that and be nicer and kinder within myself and the others, that then I'm like, all right, everything else is second. Like I don't have those like I have to build Amazon, like you know what I mean, like, and that's something where I sit
Hmm.
with myself and I'm like, it's a good thing, but I also want to be creating things more. Like so, it's like you have to be able to put on the masks or the hats. Really, you know, like you're like, all right, yo, now I'm about to put on the creating hat, you know, and like let's get to
Hmm.
it. Like that's like for real.
Yeah.
Like, and it's also comfortability too of like having a job that provides what it does to get to everything else. It's like,
Hmm.
yo, this is extra because I'm comfortable right now. Like the fact that
Yep.
I went from what I was at one point in life and a very angry, sad, depressed, raging drug addict in jail and all that to what I do now, I sometimes sit here and like, why am I going to try to do anything else? But then the
Hmm.
parts of me inside of me are like, you what? This is at the beginning, bro. Like, let's go. And then I'm like, all right, I
Yeah.
guess we got things to do.
Let's
You
get
know,
up.
like
Yep.
it's just wild. It's
There's
life is wild.
there's yeah. So the I guess I mean that's a great way to end it. That's the life. Life is wild. It can be short.
Oh,
Get
it's
the most
definitely
out of it that
short.
you can
That's
get.
not, bro. Average lifespan in the '80s. World's been around forever. You think your life is even a friggin' our ego though? I've been here forever. I'm about to be 32. I feel like I've been here for 64 years. But that's my
Hmm.
ego. That's like, yo, we did it. Like, look at these. Look at them. This is what they're crying about. Can't get fit. Ah, you kicked the drug addiction. Like that's what my ego says. Like, look at them. They're
Hmm.
complaining about this and that. You got yourself, and it's like, Lou, shut your friggin' mouth, bro. Like maybe there's a reason that you were born with some type of thing in you that got you off of doing things and others. Whatever the case is, everyone comes from different backgrounds. It's having perspectives,
Yep.
and keeping yourself in check, you know,
Yeah. That's it. Keep like check yourself before you try to check anybody else. Because
because that's
then
how you reckon yourself.
who
Yeah,
knows what might
that's how you
happen.
reckon yourself. You
Hmm.
don't know who you're about
That's
to
how you
check
reckon
too.
yourself.
That's like some like other people, man. They got like, yo, today I'm on the subway going to jujitsu. And I always keep a little knife by my waistband. It's a stabbing knife. It's not a
Mm,
slicing knife. It's for one reason, right?
you already know what I
Yeah.
already know.
I remember the first time you came over, you're like, I'm like, oh fuck, what did I get into? I forgot.
Hey,
Forgot I was
bro.
in a state where it's legal.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so this dude comes on the subway. You could tell he's on drugs, homeless, whatever. But he's has to be on like meth or something because he's all
Yeah.
jacked up.
Yeah.
He I'm like now I get my stance like because in my head he's gonna try to hit me. So I'm in the corner ready. My
Mm,
skateboard's to the left. I get more of a staggered stance. Like if he throws, I'm already thinking about a billion things that's gonna go on. And I see him going to other
mhm.
people. He comes to the freaking glass thing by me. He punches the window, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna go down. Like I'm full blown ready. This is gonna go down, right? But then he goes
Already.
like the other way. He hits into someone. Then he like throws a knee at some dude reading a book. The dude was not going to do anything. And that's why like, he went for the target that he knows in his head not going to do anything. Like this dude looked like he
Hmm.
ain't doing anything. He looked like your typical 45-year-old male white
You don't
guy.
want to be that
Yeah,
guy.
like it was.
You don't want to be that
So
guy.
yeah, so he hit need him, and then we got to the stop. He left. All of a sudden, 2 seconds later, some people come down. That guy assaulted somebody, right? So the
Oh.
reason I'm saying this is because you got people like that out there that are just for no reason could care less. Their world is so wild that they'll just assault people, right?
Hmm.
So it's like you might have someone who just seems like they're relaxed and they're really not. They just found out that their wife's been cheating on them with their best friend for like 10 years and they lost their job and now they're standing in line at the supermarket and you try to get in someone's face about something, this guy just kills you. You know? So
Yeah.
you check yourself first. Like whatever feelings, emotions you're going through, instead of projecting on the world and society, bring it within first and be like, yo, what's going on? Why am I why is that? It's not that person making you feel like this, it's you. So it's like full responsibility for yourself always. And then maybe you won't get punched in the face from a homeless person, which I'm not justifying what the homeless person did at all. Honestly, he might have just walked up to him for no reason and did it.
You just
But
popped him.
you might be dealing with the guy who just found out his wife's been cheating on him and he lost his job. You know what I mean? You might be dealing with that. Or you might be dealing with the guy who just lost his mom that just got a phone call that it's over. And you're
Exactly.
upset for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Because you've had to sit in traffic for
Hmm.
5 minutes. You know, like you just never know. It's all about perspectives and like always before. Like that's something I try to tell myself constantly before I'm trying to judge, which it's a never-ending fucking friggin' task for me. It's all I do in my life. You know, everything. But like
Just know that you yourself have your perceptions in your life, but so does
so does that.
everybody
It's like
else.
your ego's telling you you're living in this world by yourself and everyone else is here. But my dude, me,
Hmm.
I'm skateboarding in my world. Everyone's staring at me. When I'm cruising down,
Yeah, dude. On the
everybody's
fucking
looking
shit.
at me. Everybody. That I have to
Yes.
be the coolest cat going on until I check it and I'm
Hmm.
like, shut your mouth. And then I get back to the music and
Every
I'm
time I
chilling. You know. But
you're just
that
chilling.
happens,
Every
man. That
time, dude.
happens to with
Yeah, it
everything.
happens.
That's why we do what we do, and like we try to get dolled up, dressed up, be everything but ourselves for everybody else. We all do. That's why, like,
Hmm.
I was like, yo, I just got to come on the podcast like this today because this is how I'm dressing, bro. Like, I'm not gonna now be
Yeah,
like, all
dude.
right,
I love how you brought that up too, because like most people in our space, like they wear like a little bit tighter shirts and stuff like that. But like I come from just like the skate world, bro, and it's just like funny. Like I always just wear like baggy
yeah.
clothes and stuff, and I don't know,
And
just be
even
you,
now
like
with the
be who you
skate
want to
world too,
be,
like
like
no
or
matter what world you come from, just be you because it's so
be
annoying
you.
when you're trying to be everyone else in that world because then typically people find out. Or what's even more annoying for me personally is when you're that guy with like or girl and you're not yourself. You know what? As I'm saying this, I'm just judging because I don't know this person. I'm just gonna judge off of what I'm assuming.
Yeah, here we
So you
go.
know, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. I caught, but that's how you check yourself. That's live action right there. You wanted
There we
it,
go.
you
We're gonna
got it.
end it
That was
like
Channel
that.
Seven News Team live action right
Check
there,
yourself
coming at you with a
before you wreck
personal
yourself.
loose self check. I ain't gonna judge because I'm assuming that this person's doing this. Okay, so we're just not gonna. We're sentence is over. See ya. Done judging.
Oh man.
All
All
right.
right, everybody. Make sure we're gonna leave it at that. Make sure if you want to get any consultations with myself or Lou over here to head down to the show notes. We'll have everything down there for you guys to book a consultation right away. And make sure you check out our sponsors while you're down there because we do have some amazing humans help keep this
Let's get
podcast
fit. Let's
going.
get fit.
Let's get fit, everybody. And you
Healthier.
know what? Like we were saying,
Yeah,
just check yourself before you
that's
wreck
it.
yourself. All right,
Be
everybody.
well.
Peace.